Welcome to the Land, your bet sports betting show. NBA season tip-off, getting into the Western Conference, and this one got the Lakers and the Timberwolves in game one out there. Also have another video with the Knicks and the Celtics, and we're running giveaways in both of them. So what I want is for you to give me the leading scorer in the comments for both teams and how many points that player will score for each squad. So jump in the comments, let me know both those leading scores for each team and how many points, and I'll throw you in the raffle to win the $50, doing the same in each of these videos, so make sure you check those out. If that all sounds good, let's get right into it. Kicking it off with LBJ, do want to tell you guys we got the 5:30 p.m. Eastern live show every weekday now moving forward for this NBA season. You guys jump in the comments, bring your bets. I show you the tools I'm using, and we make sure we're getting the best value out of it. So make sure to jump in there 5:30 p.m. Eastern today and every day moving forward. Kicking it off with the king. I got to back LeBron. This is going to be classic LeBron moment in time. We're talking about a dude who has scored at least 20 points, I should say, in every game that he's played on NBA opening day. And that's not just for his team. I'm saying opening day for the league. He's done that 10 times in his career now, 20 plus points in all of them. Just saying. You look at him in the last two season openers, going up against the Warriors in both those games, definitely less formidable on defense than the Timberwolves, but 32 a game, 13 boards, 6.5 dimes in the last two openers for his squad. Like I said, take that with a grain of salt, but the point is the man does come ready to play in game one, and he's super rested. That's a huge part of this. If you look at him on 2 days of rest over the last couple seasons, absolutely monster numbers. Last season, 26 a game, 7.7 boards, and 8.5 assists. That's all in 35 minutes per game because he's nice and rested. Previous season, 2 seasons ago, 30 a game when he had 2 or more days of rest between games, 8 boards and 7 dimes in 37 minutes. So expect him to be playing as much as needed in this one to keep things close and probably squeak out a win for the Lakers. In that case, take all of it. PRA, points, rebounds, assists. I don't really care. I think he's going to just have a complete LeBron performance tonight. Same goes for AD. 2 days of rest and going up in a pretty good matchup where he's been needed. So he's played a ton of minutes against this Minnesota team. Obviously, Rudy Gobert, a big reason for that. Julius Randle coming in, not quite the rebounder Cat is, but still needed another really solid big body. And AD is going to have Rui at the 4. So he's going to have to be playing a lot of minutes here with Jackson Hayes as his backup. He's gone over in all 3 last season versus this team. 4th game of the season at the end in April. Didn't really play 12 minutes, so we're not counting that one. But in the other 3, 39 minutes in all of them. So playing most of the game and 11 free throw attempts, meaning he's being aggressive, trying to get Rudy into foul trouble as much as possible. And he's not scared of taking Rudy all the way out from the paint and driving to the basket, knowing he's much quicker and better off the dribble than Rudy is at defending that stuff. He was missing LeBron in one of those games. Just want to make clear, I know that in terms of his matchup with Minnesota. Still, with or without LeBron, AD's usage is going to be super high. And Minnesota, 28th, limiting the pick and roll man on those pick and rolls. So like I said, AD's either going to get the ball out on the wing or he's going to put Rudy into that pick and roll action and cause him to get into foul trouble that way. That's been really successful for him. I think he goes right back to it. This is one of my favorite plays of the night here with Rui. I think we're getting great value on him. Do want to let you know as well, I've got all my bets up on WAP.com. If you want to check that out, we've got the NBA season pass 40% off. If you just want the NBA plays, jump in the description of the video to get that link. But let's get right into Rui because I think the value is coming from the fact that he's going to have a bigger role than he had last season. And honestly, we already started to see him have a bigger role before JJ Redick got there in the last 30 games of last season. You look at him prior to the last 30 games, only getting about 9 shots up, playing about 25, 26 minutes per game, coming off the bench, not as big of a role in this offense. You look at the last 30 games, inserted into the starting lineup with consistency, a lot more shots, 11.5 field goal attempts, 30.5 minutes per game, went over the prop that he has here of 11.5 points in 23 of those 30 games, averaging 16.5. So we know that he was already more involved. JJ Redick has made it clear that he wants to have Rui more involved as well. He sidestepped some questions about Rui and got frisky with the media, but still clear that Rui's a guy he's looking forward to this season. So I'm going to get ahead of that. 11.5 points is something I think he should be clearing with consistency this year. Had to make mention of Reeves and Russell just to make clear. I know they're also in the starting lineup. I just don't really know what to do with them. Still waiting on Austin Reeves to take that step forward that indicates he's a legitimate ball handling threat for this team that can score off the dribble, do more than spot up. And to be fair, even his 3-point shot has been inconsistent, so not even as dangerous as a spot up guy. There's guys now that are threatening both these dudes for their minutes. For D'Lo, it's Gabe Vincent, who should be healthy this season. We'll see. He has props up, so expected to get a good amount of minutes as the backup in this game for D'Lo. And I could see him taking over that starting role if he plays much better on defense, especially, which he is a much better defender than D'Lo. And Rui is the guy that would sort of take the usage away from Austin Reeves, becoming kind of more of the third option in the starting lineup and a guy that they look to take a few more shots. If that is all going to play out for Rui, that would eat into some of Reeves' production and usage. So I'm staying away to see how those guys are used in this one. Other side of the floor, we got Ant Edwards. And I mean, I'm not going to fade him. I'm not going to bet on him in this game. 26.5 points. I imagine he'll be around that on the season. So if you're just playing averages, don't think it's a bad look to go over 26.5. He did average 27 against the Lakers last year, went over in half, under in the other half. No cat should make a difference, but once again, we don't know how Julius Randle's going to eat into his usage, although I do think Julius is going to be heavily involved in the offense. Talk about that in one sec. The thing is, Ant is a really good player type for going up against the Lakers and getting points. They're very bad last year against the pick and roll ball handler, Ant Edwards. Also very bad in transition, Ant Edwards, to a T, right? Getting out into transition and just flying past this Lakers defense. Could see that happening a ton. If he runs iso ball as well, as opposed to getting more of an offense with flow, then he will have a lot of opportunities to score, probably looking at 22 shot attempts or so in that case. And the Lakers were bad as one-on-one defenders guarding the isolation play. So Ant's points are still a really good look here. I do see him, taking over and taking another step forward for this team. So we'll see how aggressive he is in this one, but moving forward, 26.5 points is going to be right about where Ant's prop line should be for the season. A lot of unknowns, but that said, I think Julius Randle's still getting a little bit of value on his points. It's speculation, I will say, but what I love about this matchup is you always have the Lakers revenge narrative for Julius Randle, who has absolutely murdered this team since he got traded and left the Lakers, only ever come back to beat them really well. 25 points, 9 boards per game against this squad, and even better than that in the last 5 that he played when he was on the Knicks team. So I think him coming in, being the second best option right away, playing a team that he really loves to go up against. Naz Reid is the guy that would take the minutes from him, and he has a shoulder injury. He's going to play, but he's still nursing that shoulder injury, so we should see a good amount of minutes, like 32 to 34 for Julius Randle. And he's got a lot of stuff to play for because his future in this squad is unknown. 1 year left on the deal. We're going to see if he wants to resign or if they want to trade him or what have you. So he's playing for his next contract, whether it's with Minnesota or not. I think he's going to have a really nice season scoring the ball. Honestly, a lot of similarities between White Dante and Julius Randle as well. Both coming in, going to immediately be needed on offense. That's exactly why they got them, and I think they were happy to make this trade, is they increased their offense with another player like DDV out on the wing. Last year was interesting for him because it was a tale of 2 seasons. There was before RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly got traded, and there's after. Beforehand, 24 points a game, not very many shots, obviously a low volume player for them coming off the bench. Second half of the season, after the trade, goes up to 38 minutes per game, becomes the number 1 spot up shooter in the league, and his points fly up to about 18 per game in that sense. So he's going to come in, bring that same level of shooting and volume, I think, to this team. He's their third best scoring option off the dribble or otherwise, and their best spot up shooter. There's no question. I still would take him in a 3-point contest over Ant most likely. So I think you have to assume that he's going to be needed, but it's still speculation. That's the problem with it, is I don't know the minutes. I don't know the rotation between him and Conley and Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Jaden McDaniels. There's a lot of guys who deserve minutes and are good, just none as good as him on offense. So I think at about 11.5 points is probably up at about 12.5. You're getting pretty good value. The one piece of caution I would throw is if you do cap him last season, any game he played 30 minutes or less, only at about 11 points per game, under an 18 of 30 of those games where he played 30 minutes or less. I can't really see him being a guy getting 34, 35 minutes with a crowded backcourt like that. Might come down to night in terms of who's got the hot hand for those guards on Minnesota. I think it should be him most of the time as the best shooter. We'll see what his minutes are like, but I still lean to the over for him in this game. And Rudy Gobert, what do we do with him against this Lakers squad? To be fair, he's had a lot of good success against them. I think he's obviously needed as well to guard AD, even though he gets put in a blender sometimes in that pick and roll. He did go over in 3 of 3 games last year versus this team, both points and rebounds for where his lines are at in this one. Still probably getting value on Rudy, who's probably only going to be used more now that Cat's not there. Julius Randle, not quite as much of a back-to-the-basket scorer as Cat was. Both of them can do both things, drive or play basket to basket. But either way, Rudy should have a little bit more room to work with in the paint is the point. And I think you can even get some really good value right now. It's plus 400 for him to lead the league in rebounding this season, something we saw him do before he paired up with Cat. One more quick reminder about Outlier.bet. There's a 7-day free trial in the link. The link is in the description of the video if you want that. It is the best tool, one-stop shop to make sure you're getting everything you need. They've added things like rebound chances, potential assists, so we're getting really good volume stats as well. I would really highly recommend checking this out, see if you like it, and then go ahead from there. But that's all the time I have for you in this one. Make sure you check out the other video from the Eastern Conference Game 1 on Tuesday night. Jump in those comments. Let me know who's going to be the leading scorer for both teams and how many points to win that $50. Until I see y'all next, happy betting.